So I bought this set in 2005, I believe it was, and it costs close to $3,000. Just a few dollars shy of $3,000. You can see back here, it's got the plugins for all the drums, plus it has individual outputs that you can send to individual tracks or to individual channels in an outboard mixer. It's also got digital audio inputs and outputs, MIDI, and it's got a cage where all the drums hang out on. You can see that these pads for the cymbals are actually shaped like cymbals. Now this is the only other electronic drum set, that I've seen that actually has cymbals and a hi-hat that look anything like the real ones. And when you sit down to play this drum set, it's big, like a drum set this size you would expect to be. I've got it set up so that it's got an extension, so I have dual bass drum pedals. And here's the machine head. Now, like I said, this thing has 99 presets. Each one of these presets is a classic drum set. Of all the songs that I've ever wanted to play, from jazz to early 60s, mid 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, I have not found a drum set on any of the songs that I've wanted to play that isn't in here. In other words, they're all here, which is just amazing to me. This thing has recording capacity. Now, I've got a recording studio in my computer, so I don't really use this. And you have to set the amount of bars that in advance and all that, so it's a little bit cumbersome, but nevertheless, it's there. And you've got the volume for the snare, the kick drum, the tom-toms, the hi-hat, the cymbals, and then the miscellaneous. The miscellaneous is the rims. You've got a groove down here on the lower part, and then you've got a separation and another groove up here at the top, and you can assign different, like here is usually a cowbell, and here is usually a lower tom than these. Here it can be shakers and tambourine, and over here on this one up here is usually timbales, a high timbale and a low timbale on this one. But different drum sets have different things assigned to them. And on the snare, you've got a rim shot, and here you've got a hard whack rim shot sound, and then you've got your snare. Now, when I first sat down to play this set, first of all, it just looked so impressive, I had to try it. And then, but I thought, it's an electronic drum set, so, how good can it sound? It's just like something that you use as a curio, an extra thing, but not really your main drum set. I was wrong. Okay, this thing's got your maple. That's like the things they used in the 60s for surfer music, and then some of the bands used for the psychedelic rock, like Crimson and Clover and Incense and Peppermints and a bunch of other stuff. Camel, I use when I play the Camel music for progressive rock, I use this set. We've got your Beach. This is another classic set. This is another classic set. I've got a whole list which I'll read in a little bit of the songs that I play. Number 39 is for like Outer Space by Billy Preston. It's also Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. That guy's the drum set. Jazz, bebop. Now there's acoustic sets, and there's also electronic sets. So anything you want from the new wave or the industrial, or it also has combinations like Cuba, Latin percussion. It's got all the Cuban percussion linked together. There's also Brazilian one, and there's also a symphony one. So this is unbelievable. And it also has a sampler. So right here you can plug in and you can sample anything and then assign what you sampled to anywhere on the drum set that you want. So anyway, what I was going to say is when I first sat down to it, the two things I noticed was, well, first of all, it just sounded so incredible. I could not believe it sounded like a real drum set. And then the next thing I noticed is that, well, this is a hard pad. It has some give, but it's a hard pad. It's more like a practice pad, right? But what I noticed after, I could not get up from the drum set because it just sounded so good. I had to keep playing. So even though at first I thought, well, this is rather stiff, you know, I mean, yeah, it gives a little bit, but it's kind of stiff. And compared to a normal drum set. But then what I found is that when you switch from one sound to another, one drum set to another, it gives the sound of drum head skins that are tight or drum head skins that are looser, depending on the drum set. And what I found was that as I played the drum set, I found myself, my muscles adjusting and playing the attack that I would do when hitting these drums changed depending on the sound that I was hearing from the drum set. So really what happened was, it turns out that I was a lot more capable of adjusting the way I played the drum set, so that after a bit it felt like I was actually playing a different drum set and that it had as much give as as playing the real drum set. Now that it took 5 to 10 minutes of playing it before all of a sudden I just adjusted, and then all of a sudden I realized that I had adjusted. So the bottom line is that this drum set, the Yamaha DTXTREME IIs, is as good as any acoustic drum set of the most expensive kind. That's before they start adding anything extra to it. So like I said, it cost me just about $3,000 when I first bought it. Not only is it as good as any of those drum sets, but it's 99 of them. It's not just as good as one $2,000 to $3,000 drum set. It's as good as 99 $2,000 to $3,000 drum sets. You would literally have to have an entire warehouse to house all the drum sets that this drum set is as good as. So this is an amazing drum set.